Okay, so good morning, everybody. Baruch Hashem, we have filling in complement with Karen Darling's good friends. Baruch Hashem, there are many people that are actually returning to work, but it's lovely to have whoever is here with us. So I'm going to I tried, okay, my computer skills still haven't got to the place where I can screen share. So I am going to just do this. Now where's that thing? Gosh, there we go. Okay. 1 second. And I wanted to share and show everybody this. Okay, so that was supposed to be on my screen share. And I have to tell you that my candle is here, a light. I know that Lily and Katie arranged for Kaddish to be said. But for those of our regular Tuesday mornings who don't know who Karen, lovely Karen was, you might have actually even known her and seen her if anybody was ever in the JLE many years ago. But I just have to tell you that I have a Tehillim of Karen's, and I always feel that when I am saying Tehillim from that Sefer Tehillim, that it definitely has a feeling that Hashem is listening much clearer to those words of Tehillim from really where they were coming. Her Sefer Tehillim was so well used, and one of the things that I really learned to understand from Karen is the things that one can do and is able to do without anybody actually knowing about it. But one aspect of who we are as people is really to grow as people. And I'm going to just go back because I wanted to start, but I didn't have my hair on and I was in a meeting and I was like, you've got to leave now because I've got to go. Okay, but so I ran quickly upstairs to get my hair on as well, that we look, a little bit more presentable, right? Sharon goes and puts on her Clarence and I go and put on my hair. So we're okay. So it's fun. But Sharon, your hair's looking lovely. There we go. But I just wanted to say good morning. It's okay to everybody, and Karen and Sharon, Karen, I should say, and Sharon Edwards. It's really lovely to have you here with us. Who else is here with us? Shelley Vogel, Rini, Lily, and Katie. And really, as Karen's dear friends, I can tell you she is smiling up there. Mm-hmm. And for those of you who actually don't know, Annie, who's here on screen with us, when Karen's gorgeous mum was at Sage, Annie used to go and paint her nails. And for a few weeks, I didn't know who this lovely lady was who used to go and paint her nails. But we will make sure that we do something as well. So we're coming to the 5th of July, I think you said the yahrzeit is. Is that right, Sharon? We'll make sure we've got plenty of things to do while we're in this world here really on their behalf. But one of the things that Karen did was that she was Yael as well. She wasn't only Karen. And the spirituality that she put and brought into the world, nobody will ever be able to really grasp and understand what those things are and what they do really for us as people. So we are coming up very soon. We've just actually gone through past Shavuot. It feels like yesterday, but it feels like a long time ago. You kind of get to a space and think, oh my gosh, like this is where we are, but this is where we are because that's today. So here in the world that we're living in, I would feel comfortable in saying that we're all feeling very uncomfortable. And we're all supposed to be feeling very uncomfortable because really there's only one objective in the world that we're supposed to really be doing in the essence of, and Karen understood it. It was getting closer to Hashem, getting closer to God, and bringing him into our world with absolutely everything and anything, and finding meaning and reason for everything that's around us. And I think that's a huge lesson. But really, Hashem has put us into a very temporary physical world and a long-term spiritual world. right now we are, and it doesn't make a difference what we say, but we are coming closer to the time of Mashiach, and we are one day closer to greeting Mashiach than we were yesterday. That we all know. We're one day closer to greeting Mashiach than we were yesterday. Okay. Good morning, Claire. Claire, just to add, there's some of the ladies you might not have seen on the group before, and I said I'm very happy that they could fill our page because so many people are Baruch Hashem going back to work. But this share is lilui nishmas, a dear friend of ours, Rifka bas Chanoch. So we're very happy to have everybody here with us. So what is it that we're doing, and how do we actually know this? You know, the Torah has given us a timeline. I really should have had Rabbi Tatz's book here with us. Let me see, because I was showing somebody the other day, and I'd really, is it? Okay, give me 1 second, because if I've got it here, yeah, there it is. And I'm sure Karen would be very happy that I'm bringing Rabbi Tatz into the share, right? She would say, yay! So we bring Rabbi Tatz into our share for Karen. And I want us to know that, you know, we're living through a tough time, but Rabbi Tatz put this into his title of his book for us, okay? As dawn ends the night, okay? That's his book. I think it was maybe even being his last book that he had put out. But what Rabbi Tatz does for us, or his son actually did for us, is he makes a timeline. And this timeline, which I wish I could share with you, I'm going to show you so you can see as much as you can, but being that I haven't put it onto the screen, we're not going to be able to time share it properly. But I'm going to just show you so you can see this is the timeline of the world, starting by my finger, okay, moving across. This is our timeline. Okay, now I'm going to just try and show you the last few hundred years. Okay, we are, what year are we, Sharon?
5781.
Okay, there we go. So we are 5781. And that is, I need to cover this so that you don't get confused. There we go. No, it does. Yes, it covers. Okay. We are 5781. Okay. Is it clearing? No?
No, not really.
No. Okay. We can't see it clearly. Okay. Because it's too small, actually. So right, just look where my finger is. This is the end. This is the end. That's the year 6000. I'm going to explain it now. That's the year 6000. And we are somewhere here, literally right there at the end. Okay. What it really means is that our years are going to come every year, that every 1,000 years is a day of creation. Okay. Every 1,000 years is a day of creation. And our week and our lives and our years in Jewish thought is that each day of creation is from 0 to 1,000, right? 1,000 to 2,000. And our days, where we are now, 5781, we are how many years away from Shabbos? The year 6000 is Shabbos, from 6000 and onwards. Now, we all know that Shabbat does not begin when it's night. So we have to light our candles not only at sunset, we light our Shabbat candles before sunset, so that we've got a little bit of space, okay, without coming in to do anything we shouldn't do on Shabbat. This is where we are in physical years before the coming of Mashiach, okay? We 5781. There's not much time left. We're really at the time of what we would call the end of days before we're going to greet Mashiach. And that means today. There's a possibility of today, and we have to believe it, because the only thing that is going to actually help the world, it's not only about us. We're this tiny little part in the world. Anybody believe that we're such a small, tiny nation where the entire world is trying to get rid of us and nobody can manage? Can you imagine how frustrating it is? Can you imagine how frustrating it is knowing that you have millions of people all fighting a tiny little nation? Can you imagine how frustrating it must be to have sent thousands and thousands of missiles, hundreds, and we're still here? And look what Hashem does, he protects us. But we have to remind ourselves of this protection because we don't feel it always. We don't always feel the protection. We have to remind ourselves where we are, and we have to remind ourselves that we have to literally hold on to where we are. We have to put ourselves in a place of saying, whatever it is that we need to do to bring Torah and Hashem into our world is what we have to do. And it's not difficult because we can do it in a very simple way. And I want to try and think for us how we can all do something that actually is going to help not only the Jewish world, but it's going to be as an aliyah and a nishmas for our Rifka bas Chanoch, and really for the entire Jewish nation, right? That we're going to actually find a place where we can do things that are good and kind and nice. Look how we treat people. Think about the things that we're doing. You know we're coming up to Tammuz. So we've still got a month before we get to the 17th of Tammuz, where we go into our time of the 3 weeks commemorating the breaching of the walls of Jerusalem and finally taking us to Tisha B'Av. You know what we all want this year? What do we want to be doing on Tisha B'Av? We want to be creating the most beautiful feast and the most beautiful celebration to thank Hashem for bringing the Beis HaMikdash to us again. But we've got to make sure that we're showing him that we're really worthy of it, and this is what we can do. And it's a very hard place when we look and we say, look what's going on. What do you think Hashem wants from us? He wants to say, well, it doesn't matter what's going on. Whatever's going on, morning sorrow, whatever's going on, we have to still continue to do our bit. Okay, I wanted to say that, Sarah, I'm sure you've seen the picture of Amanda in Jerusalem, but it is so exciting. As people are getting to visit Israel, and we have a dear friend who's usually on screen with us sitting here, and I'm sure that now she's only looking after her grandchildren, but it's taken her a little bit of time to get to Israel, even after her son having surgery, and finally she got her visas, and we were working on it together, and then Hashem said, it's not yet really your time, so we have to see what Hamas are busy doing, and I'm going to let you stay home a few weeks later. And she arrived in Israel yesterday. So it's very, very special. And I actually, this morning, got my COVID negative. It's a good thing to fail tests. So I got my COVID negative certificate. And please God, I'm going to be also on the plane on Thursday evening. And I have to tell you something. It's just the thought of it. I'm trying to just stay calm, because when I think about it, otherwise I'm just going to be dancing. I want to pick up my tambourine and dance around the room and say, ah, okay. But we've got to just put ourselves in that headspace, because that's what we're all going to be doing very soon with Mashiach. Okay. And we have to be in that headspace, because our headspace has to remain positive. We can't allow ourselves to get under and get down, because it's going to make us non-productive. Okay, when something makes us feel we can't move, or oh my gosh, and we can't be like that. This is it. We are going to be looking like Rabbi Akiva looked at the destruction of the second temple and said, why are you crying? You should be dancing, because all the prophecies that Hashem sent us, it's all happened, and it's all happening. And therefore, it's going to happen for all of us. And each and every one of us are going to be dancing before we're going to be getting on our planes. Maybe we're going to have gone by then. I don't know. I'm feeling like, hi. The time is just about now. If we're able to, even if sometimes we're not able to. Maybe that's what Hashem's saying. We all need to be in the one place together. But whichever way it's going to be, we're going to rely on making sure that he's going to help us to actually get there and be part of this place that we are going to, that we're going to be. So I have a thought that I wanted to share from Rabbi Twersky. But I need everybody to put their heads together for me as well, okay? I need a head togetherness and I need some ideas. What's my idea? There are a lot of different things, and I saw this magnificent project that I don't know if anybody's aware of, but after the Miron disaster, 3 women in Jerusalem got together and they set up like an email, and got people to email in groups, and people send out individuals, groups, and everything. And it was actually just amazing, because what we did was, what they did was that they told everybody, asked everybody, not told, asked people in the merit of these people, because each and every one of them we know was a tzaddik. And one of the places that I want to go and visit as well is, I hope that I'm going to be able to have some time to go in and see Sue Koltai. But really, it's when something happens to somebody and Hashem takes that person up with him in the next world, they're living in a beautiful place. You know, I'm sure that we could all literally imagine Karen sitting next to Yael the prophetess, or maybe Sarah Menu, or maybe Rifka, or Leah. Maybe Leah, yeah, Leah would be a good one that I would feel like, okay, and learning Torah with her, right? You could just imagine the 2 of them sitting and having the spiritual conversation, okay? So where we are now, we have to create that space for ourselves here. So these ladies asked everybody to take on something. Take on something in your Torah, in your Judaism, in your wherever, and make a new commitment in the merit of the person, okay, of all the people that died in Miron. And we hope that things that we do regularly become part of our default. Okay, what is the default button that we all have, right? So all of us, when anybody annoys us, because we've all been working so hard on ourselves, when anybody annoys us, when they try and get us to do something that we shouldn't be doing, our personal default is that we say, okay, calm, I'm okay. That's all of our personal default, right? So I'm working on that default. I'm still working on that default button. Okay, my default isn't quite there yet. So I'm like, you know, it's sort of like whatever it is that's going to take us to that place of where we really need to be. So if a person takes on 5 minutes in a day, for 5 minutes, I'm going to, and only think and say nice, kind words, that we want to become our default. So it will become our default because we're practicing. When I come to light my Shabbat candles, that I can light my Shabbat candles a few minutes, not, okay, quick, right? We want to greet the Shabbos Queen in calm, even 2 minutes before the time, right? Anything that we do, I want to send a message to somebody, I want to say something kind. I think about somebody who's not, anything we do. And the world created, the Jewish world created thousands of people taking on things for the nishmas, for the souls of those that were departed. What they did was that they made a book, and I think it was up to about 1,000 entries. Okay, they made a book of 1,000 entries and took a book to all 45 homes of the people who lost a family member. And the people, when they received this book, they could not believe that the Jewish people were doing this because of their pain. And it alleviates a person's pain because it's shared. It's shared. And when we share something, we just feel that the pain is a little bit lighter because we're sharing it. So we're coming now to the time, again, I don't know how it came so soon, but we're nearly coming into Tammuz. You know, we say we think it's only been a year since the first lockdown. It's been a little bit longer. We still feel like we're in winter, so maybe we don't feel that we've got a little bit of, you know, the time. We're still in the winter months. I don't know. Our heating is still on, and it's actually nearly June, right? This is outrageous, but hey. But then what I think of, thank you, Hashem, because last year we were all sitting outside because it was so stunningly beautiful. So we have to be so grateful on that part, even more grateful than we were grateful last year, okay? And it is easier to be more grateful after an event, right, than while we're going through it. Our connection might not be as strong, because when we're going through something, that connection that we can create is so much closer to Hashem, because we recognize it's all on what He does for us. And when we see that, we've got to remind ourselves that even when it's not good what happens in our eyes, it's okay, because He is there constantly with us. Okay, so I'm thinking, what are we going to do? I want to make something. I want every person to be, I want everybody to be in a place of strength, a place of doing acts of kindness. You know, we say one little candle takes away a lot of darkness, you know? So it's one act of kindness that creates a lot of happiness, okay? Even if it's for a second. But even when we walk in the street and you look at somebody and you smile at them and they return the smile, so Perkavot tells us that it's not enough just to, we got to, because why? It makes us feel happier. And Perkavot tells us you show the white of your teeth when you smile at somebody, because it creates a warm feeling, right? And when you look at somebody else and you smile, go and stand in front of the mirror. See what you feel like when you, or when we change it, okay? When we change it, or when we, okay, what we have to be able to do is create this. So I'm looking for a way that we're going to get it out there. And then I want everybody to be able to participate in doing something that we actually feel today, I'm doing something towards bringing Mashiach, okay? That we want to make sure that our Beis HaMikdash is going to be there for us by Tisha B'Av this year. We're running out of patience. We're running out of fuel. Right, Sharon? Enough, okay? Imagine a quiet house. Imagine no noise, no stamps, no nothing. Just, hey, you know, it's like that I can go to sleep when I want to, get up when I want to, okay? But that will change also, because everything that we're going to be able to see is going to be seen in clarity. We're going to be able to see what's really there in the goodness of the places. Morning, Kate. Right? In the goodness of the places. And that's what we're looking to do. So Rabbi Twersky brings down for the end of Sivan, the end of this month, he says, and he brings it down from Eov. And Eov, we know, had a life that was not a very easy life. Okay? We know that. So he says that we shall accept only the good from Hashem and not the bad. This is where we want to be. And Rabbi Twersky says, is it not strange that when something negative happens, an adversary happens, something negative strikes, people often say, why me? On the other hand, if something extraordinary good happens, they're not likely to ask, why me? So I definitely would not be asking why me when I get the lottery this week, right? Because the lottery is going to be able to help everybody get on planes and just say, we don't have to worry about this. We can all just go, okay? Because that's what we're going to be doing. So we want to be able to, but we're not going to ask. Something great happens to me. Why me? Somebody sends me a treat. Oh, why me? Thanks, okay? All the different things that we look at. So if we don't wonder sometimes, he says, why good things happen, we shouldn't wonder why bad things happen. And sometimes we don't want to know the answer, right? I often say to people, you know, when something happens and we want to say, why, you know, so like, don't ask. You know, you might not like the answer. And I've often thought to myself, you know, Baruch Hashem, we look at things that sometimes, and I think to myself, like, what did I do wrong to deserve that? Like, come on, you know? And then I think, shh, don't tell me, because I really do know, okay? And the things that I think I know are actually not the things, they're even more than that, okay? So I just know that the surface stuff that we do wrong or that we should be doing better. But when we see these things, when we say, okay, Hashem, tell me, could you just tell me what I'm doing wrong? And then he tells us. And then we say, okay, see you later. How many times in our days and our lives do we do that? And if we really examine it, then any time that we listen, even don't walk away from something of somebody's negativity that they're saying, we're doing what Hashem's told us not to do. I don't want to go and look into any of my things I'm not doing because I'd be a bit worried. Okay, so I'm going to say, let's just be proactive. So he asks the question, Rabbi Tweski. So he says it's very futile to ask why. It's futile, not very, it's futile to ask why. And it is foolish to try and answer why. We need to be firm and strong in our emunah, in our faith in Hashem. We need to know that there's a reason why things happen. And we are incapable of understanding. Even Moshe Rabbeinu, Moshe, our teacher, was not given answers to questions. Why bad things happen to good people? How easy is it for us to recognize why bad things happen to bad people? And then we don't ask the question. But the question that we need to be, so he says, and Rabbi Tweski brings down this as an example. He says a husband may lose his wife, or the wife may lose her husband after 50 years of a happy marriage. In their grief, they ask, why me? And in all likelihood, during these 50 years, they did not question why they merited their many happy years together. When we get up in the morning, the first words that we say are, Moedeh Ani. Thank you, Hashem, for restoring my neshama. Thank you, Hashem, for giving me another opportunity to do a little bit better. We express our gratitude to Hashem for giving us another day of life. We should see each other as a gift. You know, many people have gone through a lot of challenges over the last months, year, whatever. But when you speak to people who were in comas and were in induced comas and went through all the suffering, and when they come back, and if you had to ask them now and today, and you say, how do you see the other person now? Well, I'll tell you a funny thing. It's the first days that you actually never say anything that you shouldn't. But after a little while, you get used to it again. So we have to remind ourselves, oh my goodness, you know, look where we were then. Why am I saying that to this person now today? I love them. I care about them. Why would I? I nearly lost them. And I'm not appreciating every single moment that I have with them. Okay. And then we have a different kind of level of appreciation, though, because we can put ourselves in a space of recognition and realizing that actually everything we have, whether it's people, the people that we love and that we care about, or even things. You know, it's a funny thing how it happens. I was actually unpacking the dishwasher. Bizarre thing happened to me. I think it must be, I don't think it was on Friday. I can't even remember, but it was like, and I just washed and put away. I hadn't washed. My friend had washed up for me my Magimix, and I put it into my cupboard. And there was one piece that I hadn't put in flat. And as I'm taking out mugs from my dishwasher, because my cupboard's just about the dishwasher, this piece fell out. Now, I want you to know, I don't know how I did it because it's plastic. It fell out and knocked the mug that I was holding. The mug broke. One piece fell on the floor. One piece was in my hand. And this piece from the Magimix was safe and everything was fine. And I actually stood and looked at it. And I had to laugh. And then I looked up and I said, how did you manage to do that? I could never do that again if I tried. But then I'm thinking to myself, why did Hashem not want me to have that mug? Oh, keep quiet, just get on with it and say, thank you, Hashem, you know? But it was bizarre. We can't do these things. Some things happen that we actually don't even take notice of. And then I thought to myself, what might my real reaction have been? It wouldn't have been that. This was my new learnt default. Okay, wow. And I just calmly picked up the pieces, made sure there weren't pieces left, put it in the bin, said, Shane, you were a great mug, and I put it in the bin, and that was it. So yesterday I was going off to learn with some people, and I had we have a little lunch, and I had some fish, salmon left in the fridge, and I thought, well, let me just take it with me, and I wrapped it up, but I was carrying 3 things in my hand, right? Now, 3 things or 4 things that you carry, actually 4, that you carry in your hand when you're going to the car and need to then open up the door, and it's not one of those pushers. I've got to actually, even my pusher doesn't work to unlock. I've got to unlock the door and pull it open. Can you imagine in today's time, who still drives a car that you don't have an automatic button to open and that the door doesn't open for you, right? It's unheard of. So my doors, and then what happened? Me too, Sharon, me too. Listen, we still had a car, I don't know how many years ago, but it's 10 years ago.
I'll go and get something from Tesco.
No, it's fine. I just wanted to use your room, that's all. And we had a wind down window, you know, and I think it was us and Rabbi Herman that were the only 2 people that still had a wind down window. It was so exciting. You had to wind your window down, you know. So all these kinds of things that happen. And we just have to look and say, Hashem just wants us to be more aware of who we are and what we do. That's all. We have to become more aware. So what happens with my fish? I walk, I open the door, I get it unlocked. And as I get the door open, ready to slide in and put everything down carefully on my seat next to me, only the plate of fish fell. And I said, okay, I'm not going to get upset. And I put my things down and I picked up, and thank God I had cling filmed it. There was one little piece that fell off, and I thought, okay, I took it back inside, put it on a smaller plate, wrapped it up again, brought out the bleach so I could clean off the fish on the thing, not thinking we're going to have rain to help me clean it off, but there we go, right? And again, we asked Hashem, and I did. I sat in my car for a minute, and I had to laugh. I said, okay, what was that for? What was it for? If it was to test me if I'm going to get upset about it or say something I shouldn't, even in my own private space, I get it. But I'm not sure still what it's for. And then I said, it's okay. I don't really want to know everything, but if you've taken away something from me, that I did something that I shouldn't have, and this was my punishment for it, thank you. So make that the punishment for that. Because actually, when we see sometimes when we have a stressful time or something comes, it's just helping us to clear out, And it also takes me back to a place where, when I could remember just when there were really times that Karen literally could not lift herself. She couldn't lift herself. And I remember the ones literally picking her up and putting her into the car. And I thought, Hashem, why? And she just said, it's okay. And I said to her, are you okay with me? I'm going to pick you up and I'm going to put you into the car. She said, it's fine. Thank you. Like a lady. And you think to yourself, like, why? What do I have to ask why for? Who's going to answer me? Hashem wasn't coming and answering me. What he was saying is that you better be doing something better between you and Hashem because that's all Hashem wants you to be. He wants you to be aware of the things that we're able to do and the things that we can do, even when we're pushed. And if we can remain as a lady, and we can treat ourselves and say to us, you are, that's what we are. We're nothing less than a daughter of Hashem, and we're nothing less than knowing what it is that Hashem says, you're a queen. Every single one of us have this ability to get ourselves to a place that we can say, it's okay. We're here. We want to be connected to you, Hashem, because you know the things that we need to do in order to make us like that. When I think and mindful place of what we call tiferes, do you know what it really means? Is the internet going? Is it there? Okay. What does it really mean? Sorry, I didn't put my LAN cord in, so just let me know if we have a problem. What does it mean? It means that we have to create ourselves into really believing that we can bring Mashiach. We can bring Mashiach to a place where we know that he wants to be. And he wants to be in a place where we're all connected to each other and love each other for whatever it is. And I think sometimes it's easiest, and I shouldn't speak for anybody else, but certainly for me, to create that love in places with the people that drive us the most mad. And there've been consciously a few things that I've done over the last couple of weeks that I've really had to say to myself, you know what, so what if that person irritates you? They're a person. That's who they are. And it's you that's at fault, not them. Because you haven't got enough space in your world and your place to be not critical, to be non-judgmental, to not create that space. And that's you. It's not anybody else. Hashem has put every different person in the world. Every one of us are different. Your people who have identical twin sisters are different. And we have to learn to understand and to validate, and not only to validate, but to celebrate people's differences. And it's difficult. It's a real challenge, right? And we have to say that's who they are. They want to become the best that they can, the same way I'm working on that, because that's who we want to become. And when we look at this and we say to ourselves, we can't only have that, but we are asking, and we get up in the morning and we give our gratitude, and we have to see every single day as a gift. And we can't take it for granted. And if we really believe that every single day of life was really the end of a world, then how would we behave? You know, you think of a world where people go and they say, okay, you've got another week, guys. Okay, it would be wonderful if Hashem did say, okay, if Hashem says to us, you know, this is when your time is, this is what you need to do. And I do sometimes wonder, you know, would we actually do it? You know, so there is a person, there are those people that think, okay, let's go out and party. Sharon, you got your dancing shoes on. You know, what's your favorite? What's your favorite cocktail? You know, whatever it would be. These are the things, you know, we've got to think, what are we really doing? Do you know what we should be doing? We should be saying, how can I go now and be the best person that I can? Give my tzedakah, go and say sorry to somebody. Dance and sing when I'm davening. When I say good morning to Hashem, another day. Good morning. Thank you, Hashem. Look what you've given me. You've given me an opportunity. I'm saying, Modeh ani lefanecha. Thank you, Hashem. What can I do? I can wash my hands. I can make a blessing on my hands. I can say, Al natilas yadayim, after I've washed 3 times, and I can look at these hands and I can say, wow. When we go to the bathroom and we say, Asher Yatzah, and you concentrate and focus on the words that Hashem has given you, that our bodies work. because we know the alternative. It's a miracle. It is an absolute miracle. And the miracles of the world that help us as we see things, even when our body, we look and we say, thank you, Hashem. It's not what I'd like, but I'm going to do better. These are the things that we need to focus on. And these are the things that we need to sow. So when we say Modeh Ani, it should be that thing that sets the tone for that day. Like, get out of bed, jump up, say, thank you, Hashem, for giving me another day, even to do my cleaning with my yellow gloves on, Annie. Right? Okay? The folding, the washing. Okay, but I can do it because there are times when I can't. You know that somebody said to me they managed to get on their screens. It's the most exciting thing for them. And then I was laughing because her son told me that the amount of lessons and the amount of times that this poor woman calls the grandchildren, I can't get on, I can't get on. So this was always on her phone. Then they actually got her a tablet. I said, why did it take you so long to get your mother a tablet? You should have bought her one from the beginning. But I told them it's very funny because the way she's got everything saved, okay, is by name of what she's going on to. So she often comes onto my screen with my name, okay? And there was one time I finally found out who it was that had my name. And then I realized that because that's the way she saves her numbers on her to go into Zoom, she saves that number of the Zoom link with my name on it. And very smart, right? Because that's how children told her, that's how you find that class, okay? Get up in the morning. And if we haven't done it yet this morning, take a space in our day. Let's sit there and say, what am I going to do and how am I going to be better today? And that's why I need a little bit of help. Good morning, Melissa. Right. Morning, Melissa. You know, that's why we have to take this thing and we've got to think to ourselves, how am I going to inspire myself? Okay. What did we do when we left Egypt? The Maharal tells us we give birth to ourselves. How do we give birth to ourselves? We create ourselves. Get rid of the blame game. Hashem gave you your body, your neshama, your brain, your everything. Oh, this is how I grew up. This is what happened. No. Hashem said, this is your challenge. And I love you with it. I love you just the way you are. And I love you even not more, but the more you develop yourself into the person you know you should and want to become, our love grows deeper because we feel the connection. Hashem, I'm not naturally nice. I've got to work very hard on being nice. It's tough. You know, there's certain things that we do and we say that we actually don't even realize that it might not be as sensitive to other people. And sometimes we think it's funny. Sometimes we actually think it's funny when we say certain things. Well, you know what? It's not funny. Think about not you hearing the words. Think about the other person hearing the words. You might be a less sensitive person. There are other people that are more sensitive. Would this sound nice, saying the sensitivity to someone who's very sensitive? Okay. You know, I spend my life, as many people tell you, starting this diet, that, whatever. You know, I like diets. You know, you've got to try something every new. And you can't try a new diet if you haven't put the weight on again. Hey, you know, what's the fun in starting off thin? You know, if you start off thin, then there's no weight to lose. So it's just not fun. Okay. So we've got to be able to say, but you know, there's some people that would, you know, some people, it's just not nice to say these things to those people. I think, you know, it doesn't really bother me, honestly. You know, so when one of my granddaughters told me that I was chubby, I said, you know, you've got to be careful who you say that to. And I said, you know, you teach children from a very young age what to say, but there are people around there that say things, and it's not only about an externality. Very often there are things that we'll say to people, and we haven't really thought it through. And it's not about where it is for me. I'm okay if somebody says that. But did we think about what another person's feeling? That has to be our thought process all the way along. Hashem, how do you want me to teach and to treat and to be with your children? Because we are his children. That's who we are. And that's who we need to be, and that's who we need to become. So we have to learn how to create ourselves and build ourselves. And you know what the honest truth is? There's only one way to place this. Really, there's only one way. I don't know what real or good is. It has to come from the Torah. I don't know what sensitivities are. I have to learn about it from the way the Torah teaches us sensitivities. You know, my friend told me this week, there was a wedding yesterday in New York of a South African man who converted to Judaism. He married a young woman in Crown House. They met over Zoom, okay, and they Zoomed for a good 6 months, and then they met in person in New York for a number of, I don't know how long, and then they got married in America. Now, I'm only telling you this because for a lot of people have heard about this terrible thing that happened in Israel within a Hasidus of Karlin, Karlin, whatever it's called, I can't remember, and in Givat Ze'ev. And it was a tragedy where the bleachers actually collapsed. And people were, you know what upsets me? That even we think, the first thing that we think is, oh, they went against the rules. Nobody knows anything. I want to tell you, because I want to tell you about this group of Hasidus, that this young man, and I know this story firsthand because it is one of my closest friends in Israel's son's good friend. So it's firsthand information. Okay. This man comes from a place in South Africa called District 6. Okay. It is what we call a colored township in South Africa. He came to his Torah and his Judaism. I don't know the whole story, but he came to Israel and he was very close. He became very close to the Karlin Rebbe. And he took him in and he's looked after him. He hasn't just looked after him. He says these people live in a secular neighborhood in Israel, but they all love them because they're just kind and nice and behave. When it came to the beginning of COVID, these people kept the rules to the law. These Hasidim people, these Hasidim with all their strimals and their long things, they were keeping the laws to the closest that they possibly could, according to the ruling of their Rebbe. And this boy is very close with the Rebbe. But I want to tell you what they've done for this boy. They paid for him to go out to America to date. They paid for his dating. They've paid and set up their home for them with all the things that a young couple need in order to start a home. And I'm talking about beds and plates and knives and forks and pots and fridge and freezer. And they've made sure that when he got married, that he had new clothes. Anybody who says one thing about those people against them, we don't know what our challenge is. And we don't know what anybody else in the world is doing. And here was something that I happened to hear this whole story, and I'm thinking, Hashem, you have got the most beautiful nation in the entire world. And we know that. That's who we are. So let's show it. We know that we're the kindest, most loving, generous, because when the world need anything, the Jews and the Israelis run to help. When the non-Jew needs something in Israel, do you know, can you actually imagine? Can you imagine it? That the man who was murdered by Arabs in Lod, that his kidney went to an Arab woman. And you know what we have to say? Hashem runs this world. Because we are here to create the space for the whole world, not just the Jew. We're here as a place of tikkun atzmi, of completing ourselves, of completing our little communities, of the wider community. And we're also here to help to serve the rest of the world. to show them how to behave. So I've been quoting this because my daughter shared a beautiful 2-minute idea in shul on Shavuot. And I found it very, very, very powerful for myself. And she says the name Ruth, and I know that Karen is going to enjoy this one. The name Ruth, the numerical value is 606. And Ruth, when she becomes a Giores, when she takes on her Torah and her Judaism, okay, she takes on keeping 606 mitzvahs. How many mitzvahs do we have that we're supposed to take on when we take on the whole Torah? We're supposed to have 613. We all know 613 commandments. So where were the other 7? You know where the other 7 were? She was a Moabite princess. So she knew that she already had to be keeping the Shiva mitzvahs b'nei Noach, the 7 commandments of the children of Noach. And that's 7 commandments. 606 plus 7, 613. Okay. We all are part of that. And you know what? Isn't it amazing? You think of yichus. Who wants yichus? Everybody's yichus. We'll go back and look at all of our yichus. Go back to Avraham Avinu. Go back, see who his parents were. Let's have a look at all the wonderful yichus that we all have in the world. Look at Rus. Who's Rus going to bring? David HaMelech. Who's David HaMelech going to bring us? Mashiach. We look around and we see what do we want to emulate and where do we want to learn from? There's only one place to learn from. And if we don't learn the beauty and the clarification and the Torah, we've got to increase our mitzvahs, ben Adam lechavero, our mitzvahs between man and man. We have to. This is what we need to be doing. Those people that are the closest to us, that push our buttons the hardest, because they're allowed to. No, they're not. But if we really, really, really cared about each other, the more we love each other, the more we care about each other, the more good we're going to want the other person to do. Why do we want to stop people doing things that they shouldn't be doing? Because we love them, because we care about them. And that's what Hashem is doing to all of us. We have to remind ourselves that at every single moment of the day, Hashem is saying to you, we're going to come soon to one of my favorite parashas of the year. They all are, but this one, because I remember the first line of the thing. It says, Shoiftim v'shoitrim titen lecha b'chol sharecha. Judges and officers you will put at your gates. What's lecha? The lecha is the entire Jewish nation, but it's singular. We are one nation, but the lecha inside is to you personally, because each and every one of us are part of making up the Jewish nation. And if we don't do our bit and our job the way we're supposed to, then it's not going to work with the rest. That's what we're here for. That's what we're here to connect and create and collect. That's what we are doing here. We're here in this world to become better people. How do we learn how to become better people? By listening, by learning Torah, by understanding the sensitivities. I know the world tell us it's okay just to be a nice, good person. But how do we know how to be nice, good people? The world don't really know how to be nice, good people. Mindfulness is not enough about being nice, because we can be mindful and cheat somebody on something we're not supposed to take from them. There's so many different things. Ultimately, there's only one place that we come to. Ultimately, we know that the Torah, the Holy Torah, is the only place that has got every single law for us on V'ahavta l'recha kamocha, on love your neighbor as yourself, on doing all the things that we need to in order to become the best person that I can become, on not worrying about anybody else around me, because what they do is their business, what I do. Everybody has a different thing they've got to collect and do. Somebody said to me yesterday, do you know that a person can come into this world and be here for 50 years, 60 years, 70 years, 110 years, and all they came into this world was to make a certain bracha Once they've made that bracha, Hashem says, okay, you've done your tafkid. They don't have to do anything else. But none of us know what it is. So we have to be doing and becoming better people all the time. So if anybody has a suggestion, an idea of anything that we can do that becomes a, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get, I really am. We're going to make ourselves into better people, kinder people, nicer people. Even if we're talking to ourselves. Okay? And if we are, I'll give you people to call and say nice things to.
Joanne?
Yes.
This is not my idea. It's from somebody from my shul who intended to do this some time ago. She wanted to have a good morning Shabbos, so that the people that you pass in the street who never see Shabbos here, you must be the first one to do it with a smile on your face. That's what she wanted.
So that can be one of the things that we will put in. It's not enough, but that would be one of them. I have to tell you something. I tell people when everybody comes here, pleasure, 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 Karen. It was lovely, Karen. It was lovely having you with us. And I definitely know that there are definitely things that our Karen has done for each and every one of us, and that really should be as an aliyah Torah. So I'm going to say that any of us walking out on streets on Shabbos, when you see people, of course you say, don't wait for somebody else to greet you. So I'll tell you a very beautiful thing, and his name's just gone out of my head, but one of the Musa rabbis of the generation, and I can hear how he speaks. He says, and you're walking down in the middle of one of the most religious roads in Jerusalem, right? And he says like this, he says, I say to him, good Shabbos. And he says to me, do I know you? And he looks at him and he says, I don't think so, but you're a Yid. I'm a Yid. Good Shabbos. Right? And this is what we have to do. So if somebody doesn't say good Shabbos, I remember one of my friends walked from Hendon. She said her and her daughter have a competition to see how many people answer you good Shabbos. Okay? Good Shabbos. Hello. I watched the little girl stands outside on my next door here on a Shabbos morning when she's standing outside with her brother or sister. And she just says to people, hello, good Shabbos to everybody. She's the cutest little girl. And I see people look at her and walk past. They're like, just say hello and good Shabbos. That's all we need to do. And you're 100% right, Sharon. Those are the things we need. And I think that that should just be one of the kindnesses. Okay? So we're going to think of a thing that says one little kindness makes a lot of light. One little kindness. I don't want to push away darkness. Okay? But the one thing that we know, and this is the dawn that ends the night. Just think about this one very, very, very clearly, is the darkest time. We are living in the darkest time. There's been no darker time for the Jewish people, I'm telling you. I know that we can't talk about the wars and things that happened. Yes, there's a recording, Miriam, right? This is what it is. There's been no darker time in the world. We're at the darkest. We are at the darkest. This is the dawn. Mashiach, I'm telling you, is here. Mashiach is here. That's what it is. And we have to understand that. We have to know that he's waiting, he's ready, and so are we. So we've just got to keep preparing ourselves, and this is how we're going to prepare ourselves. So in the zechus of Rifka bas Chanoch, should have an aliyah and a shamas, and a Kadosh Baruch Hu should give each and every one of us the right amount of energy to bring out the very best that we have within us. And that is really what we are working towards. Okay, I wish everybody a beautiful day. Make a great day.
Thank you.
Okay,
So
make
much.
a great day. And
Thank you.
there we go. And I'm going to thank Sippy is going to share for us. And really,
Moshe Ben-Tal.
say that again.
Eitan Moshe Ben-Tal.
Eitan Moshe Ben-Tal.
He's the one from Italy, from his
the little boy
was wiped out.
Oh, yes, yes.
The little boy.
And he's very, very critical.
Yeah. Imirza Hashem. You know, Kadosh Baruch Hu, I don't know. You go from worrying about the war in Gaza to
his grandparents, they wanted to get rid of stay in Yerushalayim. So they came, the grandson was studying medicine in Italy.
Oh my gosh.
And they went on this
Cable car.
Cable car. Yeah, thank you.
Gosh.
When it's your time, it's your time. That's all.
You know
But-
what? And that's why we have to use every little bit of the time that we have here with us while we're here. Just use it well and be besimcha. And just say, thank you, Hashem. Okay, so you give me another challenge, right, Sharon? It's another noisy night. Okay, let's do this. Okay. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do that. Okay.
I love
And
those
this-
stories.
And that's where we're going to go to. So let's try for today to make one big step, and then let's take all the tiny little steps. Okay.